Let me paint you a picture. You're a rural day trader living 30 miles past the last gas station. Your nearest neighbor is a tractor, and you've got a fixed wireless dish bolted to your roof, and it's pulling signal off of some tower planted in a cornfield 3 counties over. Now you're sitting there wondering the same thing every rural trader asks me. Can I actually day trade out here? Or am I about to drop real money on a trading computer that's going to choke the second opening bell rings at 9:30? Here's a truth almost nobody on YouTube will give you straight. There are videos out there with over 1 million views breaking down the top 10 day trading mistakes. There are channels with hundreds of thousands of views telling you exactly which platform to use or which strategy to trade. And there are a handful of what internet speed do you need for trading videos floating around out there with maybe 10,000 views each. And you know what every single one of them skips? The rural trader. The person who just can't call the cable company and order gigabit fiber. Nobody's talking to you, so I am. Let me clear up the biggest lie first. Your internet speed and your computer speed are 2 completely different things. Most traders out here think they're the same. They're not. They're not even cousins. Think of it like a water main coming into your house. Your internet is the pipe in the street bringing water to your property. The computer is the plumbing inside the house that actually gets the water to your faucet. You can have a giant water main feeding a house with rusted out 1/2-inch pipes, and you still get a trickle at the sink. I talk to traders every week who say, Eddie, my internet test says I'm getting 200 megabits per second, so my computer should be fast. Well, that's backwards. Fast internet sitting in front of a weak computer is like a fire hose feeding a coffee straw. The data shows up fine, your machine just can't drink it fast enough. So let's talk about the number that actually matters for rural trading. For day trading, you need at least 100 megabits per second download and 10 megabits upload. Write that down. 100 down, 10 up. And here's the part nobody explains. For trading, the download number is barely the issue. What kills rural traders is 2 things that almost nobody tests for: upload speed and something called latency. Latency is the delay between you clicking the mouse and your broker actually receiving the order. It's measured in milliseconds. And on a lot of rural connections, especially old school satellite, your latency can be terrible, even when your download speed looks gorgeous. But there's another metric that's just as critical. It's called the jitter. Jitter is the variation in your latency. You might average 50 milliseconds ping, but if it's jumping between 20 and 200, that inconsistency will wreck your order execution just as badly as high latency. I had a guy call me last month. His speed test showed 150 megabits per second download speed. Looked perfect, but his orders were getting filled at prices he never saw on the screen. His latency was running over 600 milliseconds because his signal was bouncing up to a satellite in space and then back down, and that round trip alone was costing him money on every fast move. Here's a scenario that matters. It's 9:31 in the morning. A stock you're watching gaps up and starts running. You hit the buy button. On a good connection, that order reaches your broker, whether it's Interactive Brokers, TD Ameritrade, or whoever you're using. It hits your broker in under 15 milliseconds on a good connection. On a bad rural connection, it might take half a second or more. In half a second, a fast-moving stock can run 10, 20, 30 cents. You want it in at the offer. You got filled 30 cents higher. That's slippage. Slippage is when the price you actually get filled at is different from the price you saw on the screen. Do that on 500 shares, a few times a day, a few hundred days a year, and you're bleeding thousands and thousands of dollars. Not from a bad strategy, from a slow pipe and a slow machine working against you. Now, before you spend a dime on anything, I want you to test your connection. And I mean actually test it. Not just glance at the number the provider promised you. Open your browser. Go to a site called speedtest.net. Now, there's a lot of advertising on that page. Ignore the advertising. Hit that big go button. Wait for it to finish. You're looking for 3 numbers: the download speed, the upload speed, and a number called ping. Ping is your latency. You want download over 100 megabits per second, upload over 10 megabits per second, and a ping under 100 milliseconds, and that's your floor. But understand this, under 100 milliseconds ping is the bare minimum. The very best trading connections run ping under 20 milliseconds. That's the difference between a fill you wanted and a fill that cost you money. Run this test 3 times during market hours, not at midnight when nobody's online. If your upload is under 10 or your ping is over 100, that's your red flag. That's a conversation you want to have with your provider about a better plan before you buy anything else. And here's a part where a lot of rural traders feel completely stuck. Because what do you do if your only options are an old school satellite or some sketchy fixed wireless tower? And your ping is sitting at 600 milliseconds no matter what you try. For many years, the answer was just, tough luck, buddy. But that's not true anymore. The answer for a lot of you out in the country is Starlink. And I'm not being paid to say that. I just watch what actually works for rural traders. And here's why it changes the math. Old satellite internet bounces your signal off a satellite parked up about 22,000 miles up. That round trip is why your ping is garbage. Starlink uses satellites about 350 miles up. Way closer, shorter trip, lower latency. Starlink advertises download speeds in the range of 100 to 250 megabits per second, with uploads usually around 10 to 20. And the number that matters most for us, the ping, typically lands somewhere between 25 to 50 milliseconds. Now compare that to 600 plus you get on old satellite. That's the difference between being competitive and being a sitting duck at 9:31 in the morning. Now, is it perfect? No. Starlink can hiccup in heavy rain or a thick storm, and you want a clear view of the sky. But for a trader who genuinely has no fiber, no cable, and no good options, it's very often the single best move you can make before you ever touch the computer side of the equation. Now, here's where I have to be honest with you, because this is the part the internet speed videos completely miss. Even if your connection passes that test with flying colors, even if you got Starlink coming along at 30 milliseconds, your computer can still wreck your trading all by itself. Because the real resource hog out there isn't your internet, it's your trading software. Platforms like NinjaTrader, Thinkorswim, and TradeStation are absolute memory monsters. Open one of them with 6 charts and a couple of indicators, and you're already eating 8 to 12 gigabytes of RAM. Open a second trading platform or a third trading platform, and then a market scanner and a browser with your news feed, and you can blow past 32 gigabytes without even breaking a sweat. When your machine runs out of RAM, it starts dumping data onto your hard drive to compensate, and that is slow. That's the stutter you feel when your charts freeze for half a second right when the price is moving. And out here, you'll blame your internet for it every single time. It's not your internet. It's your machine running out of room. So here's the question that actually matters. You fixed your internet connection. Maybe you put in Starlink. Now, does your computer actually have the muscle to keep up with it? Most traders out here are guessing. And guessing is exactly how you end up with a machine that chokes at the worst possible moment. And this is why I've built a free CPU benchmark test specifically for traders. It takes about 60 seconds, and it gives your processor an actual score. A real number that tells you exactly where your machine stands and whether it can handle running multiple platforms without the data dumping stutter I just described. Stop guessing whether your computer is fast enough. Get the number. Again, I've built this free benchmark test for traders. Click the link in the description and grab your CPU benchmark test now. And here's the thing. Even once you know your processor can keep up, there's one more rural-specific trap waiting for you, and it's got nothing to do with your internet and everything to do with how your machine actually connects to it. Run a hardwired Ethernet cable straight to your router. Never trade serious money over Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi adds delay and drops packets, and a drop packet during a fast move is a missed fill. So here's the bottom line for trading out in the country. Test your connection first. 100 megabits per second download, at least 10 megabits per second upload. Ping under 100 at the very minimum. And if you can get it under 20, you're in elite territory. If an old satellite or fixed wireless is killing your ping, Starlink is very likely your answer. Then make sure your machine has the muscle to actually use that connection. 32 gigabytes of RAM minimum, 64 if you run multiple platforms. So you can actually day trade from rural America, cows and all. You just can't do it on guesswork. And dude, why haven't you subscribed yet? Do yourself a favor, hit the subscribe button. I put out videos every week built on only one thing, making sure your trading setup will actually work the way it's supposed to. And if you want to see the absolute ultimate trading computer, up to date, AI trading ready, watch this video next. My name is Eddie Z. Thanks for watching. May the trend be with you.